Urban legends and video games have gone hand in hand for a long time. The creepy shadow people of Mario Galaxy, Bigfoot prowling the state of San Andreas, the death-worshipping cult of children that inhabit Azeroth. There are endless stories of inexplicable in-game sightings giving players the creeps. While these are unsettling in their own way, they're not the type of stories that this list will be focusing on. In this video, we'll be discussing popular urban legends about video games that escaped their digital confines to spread terror in the real world. So, I'm Joe from WhatCulture, and these are 10 scary video game urban legends everyone believed were true. Number 10. Homicidal Arcade Machine Berserk. No, sadly, Homicidal Arcade Machine Berserk is not the name of the best anime series you've never seen. It's actually an early example of video games reaching the newspapers for all the wrong reasons. 80s arcade game Berserk was blamed for not one, not two, but 3 deaths, all of which supposedly occurred at the same arcade. As reported by RetroVolve, 2 gamers, Peter Bukowski and Jeff Daly, were reported to have had fatal heart attacks shortly after playing Berserk at Friar Tuck's Game Room in Illinois. While Jeff Daly's death was never completely confirmed, the unfortunate Peter Bukowski definitely did die after playing the game. Bukowski was found to have a weakened heart in his autopsy, and the excitement induced by the game was seen as a possible cause of death. Berserk's legacy didn't end there, however. Years later, a fatal stabbing during a brawl occurred just outside the doors of Friar Tuck's. The rumoured cause of the fight? A quarter that had been placed inside the Berserk machine. While the truths behind the deaths may owe more to coincidence and hearsay than fact, Berserk's connection to the trio of fatalities at that ill-fated arcade have ensured its place in video game folklore forever. Number 9. The Haunted Majora's Mask Cartridge. On September 7, 2010, creepypasta user Jeducible published Ben Drowned, the disturbing tale of a boy whose spirit haunted a copy of the N64 classic Majora's Mask. Backing up his story with footage from the game itself, Jeducible spun a tale of warped graphics, nightmarish music, and a creepy Link statue that hounded the player relentlessly. Eventually, the spirit began conversing with the player himself outside the game, apparently driving him to near madness. As Kotaku reported back in 2017, the story was a work of fiction, but the effort put into embellishing the tale made it one of the biggest stories in gaming at the time. Like the best urban legends, it may not have been true, but was so well told it made Fox Mulders of us all. Number 8. Twisted Metal Twisted Note. Twisted Metal Head-On Extra Twisted Edition was a PS2 port of the PSP entry in Sony's Twisted Metal franchise. As an added incentive for returning players, the developers added a mode named Twisted Metal Lost. Lost consisted of 4 levels from the cancelled Twisted Metal Harbor City, and was a nice bonus for fans of the series to see what could have been. And the reason Harbor City was cancelled? 6 of its developers supposedly died in a plane crash. That didn't stop them from wanting recognition for their work, however. The addition of the Lost levels were apparently the result of a posthumous note sent by the deceased devs, imploring the remaining members of the development team to show them our last earthly deeds. The note was signed by the 6 developers who had died in the plane crash. With even the chief developer behind the series offering conflicting reports around the situation, there will always be an air of mystery surrounding Twisted Metal Lost. Number 7. Saddam Hussein used PS2s to build WMDs. There's something inherently unsettling about something designed for entertainment being used with murderous intent. It's why Chucky remains such a popular character after all these years. That sense of disquiet was ramped up when it was reported that Saddam Hussein had imported 4,000 PlayStation 2s to assist in the mass manufacturing of weapons of mass destruction. As stated by legendsrevealed.com, WorldNet Daily reported that the former Iraqi dictator purchased the PS2s with the intent of using their CPUs to assist in the guidance of the missiles that he was definitely, absolutely manufacturing. Cough, cough. As Legends Revealed goes on to state, while the initial report was alarming, it wasn't exactly grounded in either science or basic knowledge of international trade law. That, plus the eventual absence of any WMDs in Iraq, would eventually be the final nail in the coffin for this particular urban legend. Number 6. Kill Switch, the Vanishing Game. Back to more traditional fare for our next myth, we come across the mystery that is Kill Switch. Kill Switch was, allegedly, a limited release game made even more limited by the developer's curious decision to have the game wipe its own code upon completion. That, plus some other curious design choices, making one of the player characters invisible, thus impossible to control, and the game's supernatural themes made it a natural candidate for urban legend status. That legend only deepened when a copy of the game was allegedly sold on eBay for $733,000 to a man named Yamamoto Ryuichi. Despite promising to livestream the entire game, the only clip that surfaced showed Yamamoto crying in despair for nearly 2 minutes. That video has since gone missing, and the only remaining footage is a short clip from someone claiming to have the only existing copy of Yamamoto's stream. To recap, a game that deleted its own existence purportedly managed to erase the only live stream of it being played. Given the lack of tangible evidence around it, Killswitch exists more as an exercise in faith than a video game. And as most of human history shows, just because you can't prove something exists doesn't mean people won't believe in it. Number 5. Fallout 3, The Harbinger of Regicide. Tick-tock, tick-tock, Queen Bess hasn't got long left on the clock. At least, that's what people believed when Fallout 3's Galaxy News radio station began predicting the future. As Games Radar reported at the time, in 2010, mysterious Morse code transmissions were discovered to be emanating from the aforementioned station. While many of these were simply codes dictating where to find in-game loot, others were a tad more unusual. 2 of the codes in the game were discovered to be accurate predictions for the date of Gary Coleman's death and the day of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. As such, people were understandably perturbed when another message read, "The Queen has died today. The world mourns, as on days like this we are all Brits. 4:02, March 19th, 2014. Despite Bethesda's protestations that Fallout was not designed to estimate the final days of esteemed monarchs, royalists still breathed a sigh of relief when Queen Elizabeth proved Fallout 3's predictions wrong and survived her date with destiny. Although this spelt the end for the legend of Galaxy News Radio, it still acts as a reminder of how eager people are to believe in games that can supposedly see through the cracks in the fourth wall and take a peek into our world. Number 4. Pokemon-induced suicide. Before we continue, go and listen to the Lavender Town music from Pokemon Red and Blue. Go ahead, I'll wait. You done that? Good. You'll likely agree that music is less than pleasant. Harsh, jarring, and high-pitched, it seems designed to put the player on edge, which, given Lavender Town's status as a literal ghost town, was likely the effect Nintendo were going for. However, stories began circulating online that Nintendo were a little too successful in their attempts at discomforting the player. Lavender Town Syndrome was the name given to a story that Lavender Town's music seriously affected the mental stability of children in Japan, to the point that it was attributed as the reason behind over 200 juvenile suicides. Although there has never been any real evidence to back up the story, it's easy to see why the myth remains popular. As reported in Kotaku, people will always find an illicit thrill in the subversion of childhood symbols. Remember Bowsette? And the idea that sweet, family-friendly Pokemon led children to their doom is one too ghoulish to pass up on. Number 3. Taboo, The Sixth Sense. Although arguably the least well-known myth on this list, this one was too bizarre to leave out. In 1989, Nintendo published a game named Taboo, The Sixth Sense, and it's safe to say it was a departure from the company's usual product. The entire experience was essentially a 10-minute tarot reading, repeated for as long as the player's interest held. Given that the game sold terribly, it's safe to say that the interest was never really there to begin with. However, the tale of Taboo would not end there. A relatively recent urban legend sprung up, positing that Taboo had accurately predicted the deaths of several children who had played it. Although this legend hasn't quite gained the traction of the others on this list, it serves as a reminder that no matter how obscure a game is, there will always be the potential for it to become part of video game mythology, even if it is as a footnote. Number 2. The Madden Curse. From the most obscure entrant to arguably the most famous, it's easy to see why the Madden Curse managed to transcend games journalism and enter popular culture at large. Digital Trends wrote an excellent retrospective on the subject, and even a quick glance through it shows why so many people became believers in the curse. Freak injuries, loss of form, inexplicably poor performances in key games. From 1999 to 2012, the history of Madden cover stars reads like the black book of a particularly evil witch. Fortunately, the curse seems to have eased up in recent years, with only a few players since 2013 suffering poor luck after starring on the box. But that doesn't change the fact that for 13 years, a player appearing on the cover of a Madden game was essentially the death knell for their career. As a final note, a streak of bad luck lasting 13 years that ended in the 2013 season, given the importance of the number 13 in witchcraft, maybe there is something to the curse. Number 1. Polybius, gaming's most popular urban legend. The only urban legend on this list with its own Wikipedia page and documentary, it's safe to say that the tale of Polybius has taken in more than a few video game fans over the years. As the story goes, in 1981, a video game by the name of Polybius caused something of a disturbance in the town of Portland, Oregon. Players allegedly suffered from insomnia, hallucinations, and amnesia, and literal men in black came to collect information from the machine, leading to the theory that Polybius was part of a government experiment on mind control. Like the earlier story about Berserk, the myth has gained popularity due to its conflation of fact and fiction. As revealed by Eurogamer in 2015, the government did indeed experiment with mind control with the infamous MKUltra experiments, FBI agents did raid arcades in America, and games have always been capable of causing unpleasant side effects such as epileptic fits or nausea. And given the unprecedented amount of coverage it has received, its status as gaming's most popular urban legend is assured.